Good evening. Welcome to Nairobi Garage. I hope you're having a good evening. So we're excited today to have Mr. Christian Duffus with us. Are we all excited?
Hello. Welcome. I'm Chris Duffus. I'm the co-founder, CEO of Fonbnk. Fonbnk is the easiest, most accessible on-ramp to digital money. We got our start here in Kenya, but now we are Pan-Africa and looking to expand globally within the next year. And I actually was born in Kingston, Jamaica. Many of you are probably familiar, you've heard of reggae music. But I started my career at Goldman Sachs doing M&A as an analyst back in the 90s at the beginning of the dot-com boom. And I saw these young folks that looked like me, probably me now versus me then, but I like to consider myself young, that were coming in, selling their companies, taking their companies public, but they built these new companies with these new technologies that seemed like magic and were quite innovative and made the world a better place. And I realized that that's the path that I wanted to take, and had an opportunity to then work for this billionaire in his family office and help build out telecommunications infrastructure, which is sort of the first leg of my journey in starting Fonbnk, and where I learned about the telecommunications industry, wireless infrastructure. And from there, got lucky and joined some founders in the payment space, where we created the first payment gateway targeting government and regulated clients in the US. And luckily enough, the US Treasury Department was our first customer, right? So not a bad first customer in a payments business. And we built that up over a half decade and ended up selling it. I got B of A as our number one client in that venture, which was a key pivotal in that sale. And I then landed back in the telco space, where we worked on this new service utilizing an innovative new technology called WiMAX, where we were going to build out this free nationwide wireless network in the US that with a business model similar to TV, whereas ad supported, and raised a ton of money from these great venture capital firms like Kleiner Perkins and Charles River Ventures. And it did not go so well, but I learned a ton about wireless spectrum and the whole regulatory process in telecommunications. And from there, I actually had a stint with the U.S. Democratic Party as the CFO, getting a famous Kenyan diaspora elected as president of the United States back in 2008, and then decided I wanted to get back in the tech space, and joined a company in what was called TV White Spaces, which is another sort of innovative band. And the concept and technology there essentially utilized the newly allocated TV band that had been digitized, and it was the technology utilized what's called this database manager, where they took this distributed network of database managers and they provided this channel map daily after they had reconciled with one another. And it sounds somewhat archaic and complicated, but in retrospect, that was the blockchain, right? And a use case within the telecommunications industry. And then I even started another fintech in the U.S. college savings, student loan repayment business, and we ended up selling that to SoFi. And along that journey, I found this new technology, or called smart contracts from Ethereum. And I was like, what if we could reinterpret the various tech stacks that I'd built, whether it's in payments, financial services, and even wireless, on this new smart contract blockchain technology. And I was just really, really fascinated with that. And so I started this crypto micro investing site called Veet, which is, we ended up selling it to a company called RoundlyX, and it's still going, but it allowed you to round up your spare change into a basket of cryptocurrencies. And then, which brings me to Fonbnk. Actually, I think I mentioned this to a couple of people. I've actually never been to the continent. I've never been to Kenya except for this time. It's amazing, by the way. But my brother-in-law, my dear brother-in-law, came here a few years ago to go visit a buddy of his, and came back, and he had this Safaricom SIM. And it was maybe a month or two after he'd come back to the States. And when he was telling me about this, and he was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I could pay with everything with my m-pesa account, and I could even transfer airtime P2P to people. Again, nothing novel to you all. You've been doing it for years. But to us in the States, I'd been this student of m-pesa for many years, like in business school, and I'd never seen the product in real life. And as a fintech wireless entrepreneur, I was geeked out when I heard about this, and I was like, hey bro, come on over. So, I got him a couple beers. We're, sitting back, playing around with this thing, and I plug it in, the SIM, into my phone, and boop, once it registered, it showed that it had this remaining balance. I think it was like effectively $10 or 1,000 shilling or so, or 10,000 shilling, and or 1,000 shilling. And long story short, he bet me that I couldn't resell that 1,000 shilling back to someone in Kenya. Again, it wouldn't be remarkable if it weren't for the fact we're both in Washington, D.C. at my kitchen table. And so I devised this hack where I took out some Facebook ads targeting people that liked m-pesa and Safaricom, and actually kind of forgot about it for a few days, and checking my email, it says, oh, there's like 3 people interested in your ad. So I reached out to them and I invited them into a WhatsApp group, and I used the Safaricom SIM and m-pesa account, and I, after a brief negotiation, ended up selling the credits. And that was sort of the genesis of Fonbnk, which essentially is the culmination of my entire entrepreneurial career, where we now can tokenize a unit of access or mobile access on the public internet and make it tradable like a commodity. And where it's different than like an m-pesa or any number of different mobile money apps is that it uses the SIM airtime wallet, and it uses that value as a commodity that can be converted into cash, utilizing cryptocurrency as a type of pathway. So we now support nearly over a half dozen different protocols: Polygon, Ethereum, Stellar, Tron, Anchorage, Avalanche, Solana. We're adding Celo, Bitcoin, and part of that is it's not just about sort of trading, but we want to provide on-ramp to any type of application developer or as the consumer might want to provide. And sort of the other aspect of the business in providing this on-ramp is the market maker side. We provide this, it's built on this robust marketplace of agents that trade airtime, and our app matches these agents with people looking for access to digital money.
Thank you. And thanks, Chris. Super duper interesting. It might be interesting for the group to maybe talk about some of the use cases you're most excited about, to bring some color to it. And then the second question is, talk about how you engage with the telcos. Are they a threat, or are they enablers with that necessary infrastructure that you believe will always be there?
Great questions. In many respects, we see what we're doing at Fonbnk as a new type of telecommunications service, or value-added sort of telco service provider, where our primary objective, and this is part of the fuel that drives the car or powers the fan that makes the flywheel go around faster and faster, is access to free and low-cost mobile data. And just to put it in perspective, many of the markets that we serve, especially across sub-Saharan Africa, the average cost per mobile data is actually 5 to 10 times higher per gigabyte than in the West. On a caveat by saying on a buying power adjusted basis, right? Which is important in that a larger percentage of someone's disposable income goes towards mobile data in the parts of the world where they actually need internet the most, right? You may not have widely accessible information. You might have challenges to the democratic process, or you just want to learn, right? I actually have a patent, and I learned about RF engineering through Wikipedia and going online. Some help from some colleagues, but a large part of my adult education has been self-administered, and you need the internet to do that. And you don't just need the internet, but you need a low-cost, unfettered access to the internet. And so that's a key part of our tenet is low-cost access, and why we want to dive deeper into the telco space as a services provider. I really, really, really appreciate your time today. Thank you for letting me speak and not booing me off stage or anything like that.